loaded onto a long conveyor belt leading to the northern Dead Sea, where it would be dumped. But the salt dredging proposal still awaits a final governmental approval. In May, though, Israel's cabinet announced it would invest $2.5 million in PR efforts to win the international New Seven Wonders of Nature competition, which ends in November, believing it would be a major boost to tourism in the area.
If you're a fan of sushi, you might be interested in learning more about Zushi. A restaurant in Tokyo is serving raw meat sushi. Cuts of uncooked horse along with rare beef, chicken and pork have replaced fish in this new dish.
The restaurant, named Nikuzushi, has revolutionized what is one of the most famous Japanese dishes in the world, replacing raw fish with raw meat. Nikuzushi means meat sushi. According to the 23-year-old restaurant manager and chef, Kensuke Onishi, the idea of a meat sushi bar came when the diner's operator, Spiceworks, which runs other restaurants as well, decided to focus on just one of its most popular dishes. Under Japanese law, only horse meat can be served completely raw. The restaurant opened last May in the trendy Ibisu district in central Tokyo, and since then it has been proving popular with customers, especially career women. Recently, social commentators have claimed that Japanese women have become more aggressive in their private and working lives, dubbing them carnivorous, as opposed to herbivorous men, who are seen to be more submissive. As the buzzword goes, aggressive women supposedly have a liking for raw meat. To make the taste of raw meat richer, the chef of the restaurant, who has never trained as a professional sushi chef, spices up his dishes with wasabi, miso and yuzu kosho, a Japanese seasoning paste made of yuzu peel and chili peppers. In most of the world's cuisines, spices are considered a natural disinfectant when used with raw food. On the menu, there are more than 15 items. Among them, sashimi of horse meat, sushi of lean horse meat, and Japanese beef flambe. Shashitoro, which consists of sushi made of rice covered with a 20-centimeter sheet of raw beef loin, is one of the top sellers. The cooking technique is similar to the one employed when making classic fish sushi. The rice is dressed with vinegar and hand-pressed. The meat is selected and cut in very thin slices. As with fish sushi, it is custom to eat it after dipping it in wasabi-seasoned soy sauce. While most of the dishes at Nikuzushi seem to please the women customers, not all of them are convinced of the new buzzword that has been used to refer to them nowadays. Despite being in a minority, however, men customers also come to Nikuzushi to appreciate the meat-based menu and to enjoy being in the company of women. Following the success of the restaurant, more diners are planned.
An animal rescue center in Argentina is leading the way in spreading the word about conservation. Everything from eagles to parrots, monkeys to raccoons inspire tourists at the world-famous national park on the border with Brazil.
The spectacular area of waterfalls on the Argentina-Brazil border is one of Latin America's most popular tourist attractions. Spanning almost 3 kilometers, the crescent-shaped cliff of foaming torrents of Iguazu was established as a Natural World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 1984. The waterfalls emerged from a virgin jungle full of rare and diverse wildlife that form the Iguazu National Park. But the park's success can sometimes take its toll on the very wildlife that the tourists come to see. Gorioga is an animal rescue center in the middle of the tropical forest. Working with park rangers, vets, and environmentalists, the sanctuary helps animals hurt from human interaction. Every creature in the sanctuary has their own story of human folly and cruelty. From the raccoon that lost a paw after being hit by a speeding tour bus to the hawk who had lost its beak shot off by a hunter, which now has to be fed by hand until a lower beak prosthesis is made. After treatment, animals are mostly returned to the wild. Resident vet Maria Lopez says while the center is anything but a zoo, the aim is to use its tourism appeal to develop education about wildlife conservation. Guira Oga means the birdhouse in the native Guarani language. It was initially set up to care for some of the 450 bird species endemic to the rainforest region. Large cages contain many species on the verge of extinction, including the striking red macaw, the harpy eagle, and a kaleidoscope of parrots. Rare birds have often been confiscated from traffickers and are brought to Guira Oga for treatment. In other cases, deforestation and disruption of their habitat means they have to be taken to the sanctuary. For those species that cannot be returned to the wild, a captive breeding program is in place with the intention of reintroducing their offspring to the wild. Today, the sanctuary is home to much more than just bird life and has a resident list that would be the envy of Noah's Ark. Everything from rarely seen jungle cats to caiman have their own enclosures within the Guira Oga. Black howler monkeys roam freely and are some of the refuge's most animated attractions. Having been raised by a local family before being taken in, Jorge Ramfuzo, the founder of Guira Oga, says it is such human-animal proximity that's one of the biggest problems the region's wildlife faces. As animals become more humanized, they lose their natural instinct and the chance to live independently in the wild. The rescue center's approach is all about presenting firsthand the delicate balance of the ecosystem in which the animals need to be maintained. Iguazu National Park is renowned for its conservationist approach in developing tourism. Some recent facilities are causing concerns. Helicopter tours, which run only from the Brazilian side of the park but travel over its full 67,000 hectares, are one of the area's most divisive facilities. Environmentalists maintain that the roar of the engines and low-altitude flying disturb animals' natural habitat. Argentine authorities are currently trying to have the helicopter tours banned. Other heavy traffic traveling through the region fill the rescue center with animals involved in road accidents. The Guira Oga Sanctuary is privately run and survives entirely on donations and tourist entry fees.
Zookeepers at a Paraguayan zoo have launched a search to find Mrs. Right for an endangered hyacinth macaw.
He's single, fabulous and looking to settle down. Zookeepers at Paraguay's Asuncion Zoo are looking for love for Coco, one of the last known male hyacinth macaws in the country. The large blue parrot, native to Paraguay, Brazil and parts of Bolivia, is an endangered species. Zookeeper Dr. Alicia Coppola, who oversees the zoo's breeding centre, hopes to find little Coco a girlfriend so he can start a family and increase their numbers.
Coco is a blue parrot, an Anodorhynchus hyacinthinus. It is the largest parrot in the world. It is in danger of becoming extinct. Its population is currently limited to the Pantanal region, and we've had Coco here in the breeding center for the past 9 years. He has time to find a girlfriend because their average lifespan is 70 years, so we have hope.
The bird's brilliant blue feathers and bright yellow skin patches around the eyes and beak have made the species the target of traffickers who sell the protected parrots illegally to collectors. Its natural habitat is also under siege as farmers and cattle ranchers creep into their breeding grounds, destroying the trees they use for nesting. A victim of the caged bird trade, Coco has been through a lot in his 9 years.
Ya que este animal pasó una serie de peripecias también como Blue.
He came to us through the Environment Protection Agency, which had confiscated him from animal traffickers, and he grew up with us. When everything was fine, he got along just fine. He was stolen from us, and the press made a big fuss so that whoever wanted to sell him wasn't able to. They set him free, and now he's here. He's doing well. He has a new home, but he doesn't have a girlfriend, so he's desperately looking for a girlfriend.
Entonces busca desesperadamente su novia.
But anyone who sends Coco a mate would have to say goodbye to their friend forever because macaws mate for life, assuming they like one another to begin with. Veterinarian Alex Lucas Spadetti says getting the birds to mate is the tricky part and that there's no guarantee they'll get along.
Reproduction in captivity is very complicated. There are some factors that make it difficult, especially stress and the individual behavior of each animal. Because in the wild they are extremely monogamous. They find a partner and continue as a couple for the rest of their lives. We have to be lucky enough to find animals that adapt here and that want to be with each other as a couple.
True love, as they say, can be hard to find, even when you're a macaw.
Let's turn to the sports world now. Here's a look at the top sports headlines from the week. Rory McIlroy eased to an 8-shot victory at the U.S. Open, signaling his rich promise as a potential golfing great by becoming the championship's youngest winner since 1923. The 22-year-old Briton, 8 strokes in front of the chasing pack overnight, carded a 2-under par 69 on a humid and overcast day at Congressional Country Club to claim his first major title. Long regarded as a future world number 1, McIlroy posted a tournament record total of 16 under 268 to leave his nearest challengers trailing in his wake and banish memories of his final round Masters meltdown 2 months ago. McIlroy eclipsed the previous best aggregate of 12 under set by Tiger Woods at the 2000 U.S. Open and became the second successive Northern Irishman to win the title after Grant McDowell last year. Ricky Rubio, the 5th overall pick in the 2009 NBA draft, was introduced at Target Center on Tuesday as the newest Timberwolf. He quickly won over the media with a multi-megawatt smile as he spoke about his goals in the NBA and his passion for the game. His new team had the worst record in the league last season and is in desperate need of a talent injection. Rubio, who signed a 3-year contract with the Timberwolves, played the past 2 seasons with Regal FC Barcelona, who won the Spanish League Championship last week. The 20-year-old also has won a EuroLeague title in 2010. Argentina forward Lionel Messi shined on Monday as he scored 1 of 4 goals that gave his South American side a 4-0 victory over Albania in their last warm-up game ahead of the Copa America tournament. Other goals in the match that was played at River Plate Stadium in Buenos Aires were scored by Carlos Tevez, Ezequiel Lavezzi, and Sergio Aguero. Batista said he and his players had been studying Bolivia's performance ahead of their Copa America opening match on July 1st. The Copa America, which Argentina is hosting, will run from July 1st to July 24th. It seems Andre Villas-Boas is returning to Chelsea. The former Porto boss signed a 3-year contract with the club this week.
Andre Villas-Boas became the 7th manager of the Roman Abramovich era at Chelsea on Wednesday after agreeing to a 3-year contract at the West London club. Villas-Boas led Porto to a domestic double as well as winning the Europa League last season. He replaces Carlo Ancelotti, who was sacked in May after failing to win a trophy in his second season, having won the Premier League and FA Cup in his first. Villas-Boas is the youngest manager in the Premier League. Chelsea paid £13.3 million to trigger an escape clause in his contract. Chelsea said in a statement on their website that Andre was the outstanding candidate for the job, one of the most talented young managers in football today, achieving much in a relatively short space of time. Villas-Boas worked at Chelsea as a scout under Jose Mourinho, who left Porto 7 years ago to join the Premier League club. Chelsea initially seemed set to return to Guus Hiddink in their search for the man to finally bring them the Champions League after so many near misses. Villas-Boas, who proved a shrewd operator in the transfer market, is likely to try to persuade Porto's Colombian striker Falcao to follow him to Chelsea after his prolific season, which included 17 goals in the Europa League alone. With Fernando Torres, Didier Drogba and Nicolas Anelka all vying for a starting role up front, the addition of Falcao would give Villas-Boas formidable firepower.
Jack Warner resigned from his post as FIFA vice president this week. His resignation was the latest twist to the soccer governing body's bribery saga.
FIFA vice president Jack Warner has resigned, and an investigation into corruption allegations against him has been dropped.
I said before, FIFA will feel a tsunami coming. Trust me, you haven't seen it yet. I have it in the lobby. Because at the end of the day, Blatter has to be stopped.
Warner, who had been suspended pending an ethics committee probe into bribery claims, has quit from all his posts in international soccer, including as CONCACAF president. FIFA said in a statement that FIFA regrets the turn of events that have led to Mr. Warner's decision. Trinidadian Warner was being investigated in a cash for votes scandal relating to the election campaign of then FIFA presidential candidate Mohammed bin Hammam that rocked the governing body earlier this month. Warner, who following his suspension had threatened to unleash a football tsunami by revealing contacts of email with FIFA President Sepp Blatter before backing down, had been involved with the governing body for nearly 30 years. CONCACAF is the regional governing body of North and Central America and the Caribbean and is currently holding the Gold Cup in the United States.
The Santa Barbara Polo and Racquet Club will host Prince William and Catherine during their visit to Southern California. The Duke of Cambridge will participate in a polo match while his wife, the Duchess, looks on from the side.
It's nicknamed the Sport of Kings, and appropriately so, as the Polo Club in Santa Barbara, California, will play host to future King Prince William